For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. Thank you very much, Larson, for that wonderful introduction that I've heard now for 10 years. It's like show 600 is pretty much coming up. One of the things that I love about doing the show is I share my life experiences and situations and stories, and then I hear from you because I either want your opinion on it or I want to hear if you've had the same thing happen. And relationships are always a big topic of conversation, whether that's people bragging about their relationship, right? I mean, you see that on social media all the freaking time. But it could also be about relationship issues and problems. And something that maybe I talk about in my relationship makes you go and say, oh, yeah, my God, that's happened to me. I didn't think that was a thing. And now you email, and then we go back and forth, and we bond over this. And it ends up becoming a really fun thing. So, I have a bunch of emails that people had sent me. We've had discussions about relationships, and so I wanted to address them in what we used to call Ask JB, which was people emailing in, asking a question, then I would answer it. But because, like I said, we've been going back and forth on these emails, they already know the answer to it. Now I'm just bringing it to you, the other listeners, and see what you think about it. So that's what's coming up on the Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. We talk about a lot of things on this show, obviously. That's kind of the point, right? That's the point of a podcast. And I don't necessarily discuss current events, but it's a lot of kind of just life issues, things that happen, in your day-to-day world. So we used to do this maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, Ask JB, right? Where sometimes when I'm talking about something on the show, it'll make you think of something, and then, you write in, and then we kind of go back and forth with our emails. That's actually really how I met my husband, 10 years ago on when I was hosting my syndicated radio show. One of the things that came up when we've had relationship chatter is somebody said there's this delicate line or balance, topic or issue, situation, drama in a relationship because you buy each other gifts, right? Birthday, anniversary, Christmas, whatever it might be. But there's a fear that you're going to spend either less or too much, right? Like it should be kind of the equivalent. Now, I was asked, well, how does it work in your relationship? Like when you guys buy each other gifts. Here's the thing. We actually don't buy each other gifts. So when my husband's birthday rolls around in February, there are no gifts. We just don't do it. When my birthday rolls around in August, there are no gifts. Christmas, again, we really don't have gifts because we just mostly do things. So for instance, if I It's actually, and it ends up being a spontaneous day, truthfully. It's, we wake up, my birthday's August 1st, so we wake up, obviously we know we're going to do something, but it could just be, taking the dogs to the park. It could just be going for lunch. It could maybe we'll do a road trip with the dogs and we'll just blast music and sing. Maybe we'll, I don't know, take them to the lake and go swimming. Like it's something that we don't really plan. We don't really have a set out plan for the day, and there are no gifts. It's not a relationship where, there's surprises where, look what I got you. Because, I don't know, we just don't do that. And I'm one of those people who I guess I've always been difficult to buy gifts for because I have my own money. So for me, if I want something, I'm just going to go and buy it. Right? When we were growing up, my brothers and me, my mom would always, I don't remember if it was like come November, mid-November, we were kind of told not to buy ourselves stuff because, well, you might get it for Christmas. And maybe she was doing that because she'd already bought it for us. That might be it too. Now that I talk it through, I'm sort of like, wait a second, maybe that's why. Maybe she told us not to buy it because she had already got it for us. But yeah, I've never looked at the calendar and said, okay, maybe I'll just ask for it for Christmas then instead of buying it for myself. Whatever, I've got the money, I'll do it. So with my husband, we both, he has his interests with, gym stuff and hair products or, that and clothing. He's a Brazilian fashion and fitness model. So, he's going to buy hair products or clothing or whatever it is. He buys it because he likes it and that's that. I've never had a situation where I'm going to the store or the mall or whatever it is, and I'm looking and going, oh, that shirt. Yeah, I'm going to get him this shirt for Christmas. Because, I know what his tastes are. I know what he likes. But, at the end of the day, he'll buy what he's going to buy. And same thing with me. So we don't ever have that, oh my God, he got me the worst gift. And we also don't have the situation of, I spent $500 on him and he spent $100 on me. We just don't. So we've almost kind of eliminated that from the beginning. Now, our very first time together was Christmas of that year. And this was one of those things where, okay, you're flying from Brazil to Canada to spend time and hang out. Well, that's a big expense, and, to be away from your family and things like that. It's not like he was coming to my house and I've got, 15 presents under the tree for him, because I knew, again, that's not going to be a good ratio. I know that he's not coming with an entire suitcase of gifts for me. And truthfully, it's not even like we, do you want me to get you something for Christmas? We didn't have that discussion. That's just not what we did. If he ended up getting me something, okay, wonderful. If he didn't, okay. So what I did, this is how cheap I am. You have to remember that he came, we didn't know if we're going to like each other, if this is going to be, a disastrous visit where he's going to do something or he's going to steal from me and I'm going to have him arrested within 2 days. You just don't know. Now, we had talked for about a year and a half before meeting face to face, so I was fairly confident it was going to be okay. But I just knew that, we're going to be doing a bunch of things in my hometown, and that kind of stuff is going to end up costing me money a little bit here and there anyway, right? So that is kind of the gift. So I don't need to buy you things because this is more about spending time together. So again, with that uncertainty of like, is he bringing me a gift? Should I get him something? I was kind of like, let's just go minimal. So what I did is, I've been in media for a very long time, and at our company, we get free stuff sent to us all the time. And so I had a Winnipeg Jets hockey team, the Winnipeg Jets, coffee cup, travel mug, and it was like a coffee mug set or something. There was like a travel mug, and then there was something else, a water bottle or something. And so I got that either from, I can't even remember if it was a gift exchange or if the team had sent it to me or something, but I have a closet at home where there's just, random products and things that I have, and this was one of them. I thought, okay, he's coming to Canada, we're in Winnipeg, I'll give him this thing from Winnipeg. So that's what I got him, or gave him. And then I had also, too, a winter hat. Again, I don't know if it was, a city councilor that gave it to me, the mayor or whatever. I know a bunch of them, so somebody gave it to me, and so I had that as a Winnipeg souvenir. So those are the gifts. And then he ended up giving me a little Brazil keychain. So, was that picked up at the airport? And then a Brazil magnet. Now, the magnet, this is the thing. The magnet, I had said to him, when my grandparents were alive, they're both now dead, but when any of us in the family would go on a trip, we would buy them a fridge magnet. So I go to Los Angeles, I get a Los Angeles magnet, and the next time I see my grandparents or I go to their house, here's a magnet for your fridge. Their fridge was literally full. When I say literally full, I mean top to bottom. That's how, many places we all traveled. We have a really big family. So that was something that I thought would be cool, because when I started to do my job in the radio business, traveling and doing tourism shows and red carpets and just going everywhere, that's what I started doing. And so I would get them a magnet, and then I would get one for myself, because I knew my life was going somewhere, that I was going to be traveling a lot, and I would collect a bunch of these magnets so that when I get my house, I was still in my early 20s living with my parents, but when I get to my house, my fridge is going to be just like my Baba and Gija's with magnets on it. So that was something that I said to before he was my husband, I said to the guy, I said, if you could remember a magnet for the fridge, that says Brazil. So I went and showed him my fridge, and I said, because this is something that, like my grandparents did. And so my grandma was still alive when he came around. So he was able to then, see it at her house that, oh, this is what Jeremy does, oh, okay, I get it now. So there's a bit of a special connection to it. So yeah, he got me a Brazil keychain, and then he gave me a Brazil magnet for the fridge, and then a baseball cap that said Brazil on it. So this is also what's kind of funny, is that our gifts for each other ended up kind of being gifts about where we were from, right? He was giving me Brazil souvenirs, and I was giving him Winnipeg souvenirs. We didn't discuss that. That wasn't anything that we kind of planned. Again, mine was in the closet at home, so it wasn't really planned at all. But anyway, so that was sort of our first meeting and our first Christmas together. And it also just kind of set the tone then going forward was, because his birthday's in February. So he ended up visiting again a month later at the end of January. And then he was around for his birthday. And I bought a cake. That's not really a gift though, right? And so there was a cake and cookies, because there's a bakery in Winnipeg that I really enjoy and I have ever since I was a kid. So, if a cake is a gift, well then fine, I bought him a gift. But no, we don't do birthday presents. We don't do Christmas presents. There's no big, I'm not looking under the tree going, oh, I wonder what he got me. Oh, I wonder if this is whatever, because I just don't need anything and I don't want anything. And if I do want something, I go and I get it myself. So that's my response to somebody who's in that dilemma of, what should we buy each other? I would say maybe have that discussion right away, because, when I was growing up in our family, so my two brothers and my parents, we had what was called the limit. We had a limit. We would spend $25 on each person, or $30. You have to remember that we were, teenagers or early 20s. So that ends up actually being costly, right? If you're buying for your two parents and your two brothers, $30 each for a teenager, and then if we did have, we buy for our grandparents or whatever it was, right? And sometimes in a lot of situations you have 4 grandparents, mom's side and dad's side. So it does get expensive when you're a kid to buy gifts. So we did have a limit. It was $25. And then when we were a little bit older, we bumped it to $30. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing that in a relationship. All right, hey, let's spend, what are we comfortable spending on each other? Is it $50? Is it $100? Is it $200? Is it $500? Have that discussion so that one of you isn't going above and beyond and the other is, because that's also just going to create a really awkward moment. Maybe your partner thought that $100 was enough and that, he or she is going to look cheap or broke or whatever it is. And that's just not the case, right? Because maybe he or she comes from a family where they didn't go all out on gifts. It was more about the moments together and the experience. And let me be clear. I'm not that whole ooey gooey, lovey-dovey person who's like, it's all about just the memories together. Just being with you is enough. I don't do that bullshit. But I'm just saying, we end up having a better time doing stuff like that. Our relationship is based on sort of, randomness and just, all right, let's just go and do this. All right, well, there's no really big plan. And I've said that even with our team, when I get together with Bonnie or Suzanne, I will literally be, we'll literally be sitting in the car together. We've talked about getting together on Saturday afternoon. And, we started that conversation on Monday. Wednesday rolls around, we check in. No, are we still on for Saturday? Yeah, I don't know. What do you want to do? Whatever. I don't care. We'll literally be sitting in the car together and go, now what? And it ends up being a really fun time. And so that's how it is with my husband. Yeah, we don't do gifts. We're not buying each other things. He's not coming home with, oh my God. Well, that's not true. I mean, like, we'll do the odd randomness kind of thing. I had wanted for the longest time, here's a stupid story to make me sad, but this is how simple I am. I'd been talking about wanting one of those restaurant-style Parmesan cheese shakers. You know what I'm talking about, right? The glass, the rounded, it's got the indents or whatever, and then there's the silver lid with the big holes. For some reason, I'd always wanted one of those in my house, and I didn't have one. I don't know why. You can get them at the dollar store. It's not like it's anything special. But he had come home with one because he was walking through whatever store and then just thought, oh my God, it's going to be funny because, JB has been going on and on and on and on about this. And I think even what happened was I would talk about it before we would go shopping, and then we would go shopping, and then I wouldn't even think about it. So then we'd get home, and I'd say, oh my God, I totally didn't get the Parmesan cheese shaker. So it became this ongoing joke. Well, all of a sudden he becomes this hero where he comes home and whether it was a dollar store or not with this cheese shaker, and it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So that's really how easy I am to please when it comes to something like that. And he does get me flowers every week, and that's just something that he's done. Whether he's here or not, they're either delivered or he brings them, or they just happen to be on the kitchen counter when I come home or whatever. So it's little things like that. But in terms of gifts, it's not like, okay, I've got to go birthday shopping for him. I've got to, I'm going to get him things. I'm going to, just go and spend a bunch of money. We have a lot, truthfully. And I'm not bragging about, having a shit ton of money. I'm just saying that that's just how it is. We don't really... So maybe my relationship is boring in a sense in that regard, but I don't know. But it alleviates any problems. We don't have any like, oh my God, I spend so much on you and you don't even buy me anything. And we've never had that. So maybe that's the way to go, right? Don't buy each other gifts. Make that kind of your... that'll be your holiday tradition. Honestly, we'll just do silly things. We'll go and get... we don't really care for gingerbread, but we would get those cookie decorating kits or something, and we would, we'd decorate the snowman or whatever the hell the cutouts are as the cookie shape, and we'd bake cookies, and they'd be deformed, or they'd, whatever, and we just have a laugh with doing that, and that's what we'll end up doing, for that evening. But yeah, when Christmas morning rolls around, we don't, we do generally have a tree put up, but, there's not a shit ton of gifts well, there's no gifts for each other, and that's fine. We have stuff for the dogs. Like, obviously we have 2 dogs, so they will have things. But yeah, so there you go. That's the long-winded response, the 15-minute answer to, how do you get around the whole awkwardness of gift giving with your partner? Just say, right off the bat, hey, you know what? Let's not do gifts. Let's do moments and just have a good time. Whether we go out, dancing or whatever. Honestly, so let me just go back to Christmas then for a second, because my husband came into Canada on Christmas Eve and we spent Christmas together. Christmas Day in my house that year, there was nothing really to, unwrap. What did we do Christmas morning? He wanted to go on a bus because he's from, rural Brazil. He'd never been on a bus before. And he saw one coming down a street the day before. And I said, all right. And so we went out for a walk just to kind of go through the neighborhood. He'd never been in snow before. He'd never been in cold weather. And so we just decided to go for a Christmas morning walk. And then there was a bus coming. And so he's like, so I just said, it just goes around the neighborhood. It just takes people around. It is kind of weird to explain what a bus does to somebody who's never heard of it or seen one before. So I said, I guess we can. It's just going to go through a neighborhood and then come back around. So he's like, yeah, we were literally the only people on the bus. We were the only 2 people on the bus. And first of all, I don't take public transit. Sorry. That's not my thing. But you know what? For the shits and giggles of this, I'll go for it. So we get on the bus. It goes around the neighborhood. Well, it leaves my neighborhood. It goes to another one. It gets to the end of the route, and then the bus driver turns around and says, this is the end. I turn back around and I go back around now. And so I was like, yeah, I know. He just wants to do a bus ride. And, the bus driver's probably like, it's Christmas morning. You just wanted to go for a bus ride. Like, that doesn't seem sketchy at all. No, really. He's from Brazil. He'd never seen it. And that's what we did. So he wanted to go and see the Christmas lights or the snowman or the snow and the houses decorated or whatever, because if you've never been to Canada in the winter before, it's kind of exciting. So we have still done that, believe it or not. it's a little bit strange that, yes, on Christmas morning, we will get up, we will just randomly go for a bus ride. But again, it's something that's special to us, right? Like, I wouldn't expect, my parents to all of a sudden just hop on a bus and, tour the city for Christmas. But because that happened that first time, now there is that connection for us. And so that's what we do. So no, we don't spend the morning, drinking eggnog and opening presents and, oh my God, I love it. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. How did you know? No, we don't do that. We're a romantic and cuddly gay couple, but not that ooey gooey sappy, let's get our matching PJs and take a picture with the dogs by the tree. No fucking way, it's not happening. Merry Christmas. Are there odd things that you do in your relationship? There's just some things that we do, I gotta say, that they're unspoken things that we just, it's not gonna happen. We don't even have to have a discussion. We just know it's not going to happen. There is one thing that we do, but we're going to take a break because I've just, used 18 minutes on this segment. I'm going to tell you some of the odd things that we do in our relationship on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. Not that I'm a relationship expert, but I do feel like the things that I do in my marriage, which is, our relationship is almost close to 10 years now. It's the random silliness that just makes us laugh. Now, you have to remember that when my husband first reached out to me through my radio show many years ago, it was by email. So there was a bit of, broken English, and you could just, I've been a writer for over 20 years, so I can tell when either English isn't the first language or if it's Google Translate or whatever it is. Like, there's a tell. So we did a bunch of emails for months back and forth, and then eventually had video calls. And right from the beginning, he was nervous about his English, and he did speak English, but it was just not great. And so that was kind of our bond, was me having to kind of help him figure out the language and get better at it. And then, there's obviously a lot of trust where, somebody is leaving their family for Christmas and coming to a different country to see, somebody they've never met, meeting all of my family most of my family within an hour. He met my immediate family within an hour of getting to Canada, and then my dogs and seeing snow and all this other stuff. And so we do just have these random kinds of things. And so when I had told him what my favorite song is, which is Faith Hill's This Kiss, and that's from when I was a teenager, one of the conversations that we had one day on a video chat was your favorite song, because I didn't know in Brazil, like, if have they heard of Faith Hill, Garth Brooks? Obviously they know Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and people like that, but do they know who Kelly Clarkson is? Do they know? And maybe that was stupid because I was like, well, yes. But you have to remember, too, it's not that he's from Sao Paulo. He's not from one of the big areas. He's from very rural Brazil where things were a little bit limited. Remember, he'd never seen a fucking bus before, so I don't know who he knows and who he doesn't know. So I had told him what this song was. He looked it up, and I said to him, okay, so when you come to Canada, we're going to sing it because it's my favorite song. So if it comes on the radio somewhere, even in public, there's a part of me that maybe does kind of sing it out loud a little bit. And so I said to him, I want you to learn it in English. And it's a fun, catchy song. It's only about like 2.5 minutes. It's not a very long song. And so that was one of the first things that we did. We were standing in my kitchen. And because we were in the kitchen when we started singing it, I can't remember. I remember that we started to sing and then we started to dance. But I don't remember if he started to sing a few of the words, or maybe I just out of nowhere went and said, "It's the way you love me." Or did he do it? Shit. Oh, I'm going to be in trouble now. I'm going to have to ask him. He wouldn't remember anyway. But at some point, one of us did it. And then it just became this thing that in the kitchen. So we just started dancing in the kitchen. I don't know if the actual song came on or, we just started playing the song or if it was just us. But anyway, there was something about the song in the kitchen. And what that led to, this is absolutely true, was dancing around the kitchen, as I said. And then I, at one point, got on the kitchen counter. And then we got onto the kitchen table. And again, he's a big guy. I'm not so much. But it's a very sturdy, we got a good table in the kitchen. And so that began our kitchen table dance party. Yeah, the KTTB. Kitchen table dance party. And still to this day, so almost 10 years in, and it's happened, we were in a restaurant one time and all of a sudden it came on. And we got up, the two of us, and we just started dancing on the spot. People looked at us, and I think that there were even people that maybe started taking video, thinking that it was some kind of like a, flash mob or hidden camera show or whatever, because we also just don't care. It's like, it's a song for us. We're going to have a good time. And we actually did. There was one time where we were in Montreal, I think it was, and we actually got a bunch of other people to get up dancing. And the restaurant loved it. The staff was kind of like, what's going on? But here's the thing. You know what? Your customers are having a good time. Everybody's laughing. There was applause. You want that in your restaurant, right? I mean, you want people to have a good time and strangers. We don't even know these people at the other table and we're high-fiving them or hugging them or whatever. I mean, it was really a moment. I think we ended up putting out a plea on the radio years or weeks later. And we just said, if anybody was at this restaurant in Montreal, we'd ask the restaurant for if they have the surveillance, whatever. And they said, we can't do that just because of, privacy of whatever of our other guests and things. And I thought, oh yeah, that's true. Okay, fine. They could have at least given it to us though, right? Just as but they wouldn't do it. It's like, we created a moment for you guys. Come on. There's probably nothing stopping them from putting that on their Facebook page and going, oh my God, look at this random thing that happened. And I'd be like, excuse me, you're going to pay me for my appearance. Thank you very much. But no. So we ended up, we put it out there and I was like, if anybody was there and you got video footage, send it to us. We totally want to see, because we're not expecting that we're just going to be out for dinner and all of a sudden the song comes on. We're not that couple that has our phones, ready to start recording and doing shit like that. We just don't. But yeah, I remember being at the post office one time, and I was by myself. I wasn't with him, but I would call him, and wherever he was, he didn't hear the music because obviously it wasn't blasting in the post office. But yeah, I just kind of started kind of bopping in place and rocking out. I wasn't going full on dance moves, but yeah. So again, we would just have things like that in our relationship. It's just, again, it's weird to other people, but for us, it just, it brings a laugh and it, we don't take things too seriously. And that's something that I think is really key to a relationship. I mentioned about the phone thing. We're not glued to our phones. I don't go, if we do something like that where we just spontaneously start dancing, it's not like we have our phones literally on us in the house. We actually do keep them in the kitchen, so they were nearby. But again, we're just in that moment. I'm not thinking, oh my God, grab a selfie. Oh my God, because my brain doesn't go to, I've got to exploit this moment on social media, this private moment with my husband. I've got to go and show everybody. That's not the life that we have. So, I think that's a big part of it. I'm interested to know how many people are in relationships and just how many think that their partner is a little bit too much on social media, right? Shares a little bit too much. When we travel, this is funny too, because our phones, each of us has more than one phone. One of them is a business phone connected to our company, and then the other one is private. The company one is connected to our photo drive and everything like that. So if I take a picture with it right now, the entire company, and that's even the guys in our e-commerce stores or whatever, would have access to that in our media drive because it's the work phone. And we're doing radio shows and red carpets and travel stuff. Of course, it's going to go immediately rather than, here's my phone. Can you download the stuff now? It's like, no, we all have access to it. There it is. So we'll go on a trip and we'll come back, and the coffee guys at Buffboy Brewing in West Hollywood will kind of laugh and go, did you guys even go somewhere? There's no pictures. Yeah, because we can go on a trip and not take any photos. Because why? We're both there experiencing it. Why do we need to take photos? Because, everybody documents their life for an audience now. And that's just, again, not the way there's got to be a big percentage of people in relationships that will pose for the selfie with their partner. But that there's such a huge percentage of the partners that are just like, I'm doing it because he or she wants to do the selfie. but you know that they don't want to do it themselves. And rather than cause conflict or saying something or whatever it is, they go along with it. I've said this on the show before. I love when a performative relationship ends. I love when somebody basically broadcasts their entire relationship from day one, right? Remember back in the day, it used to be on Facebook, is in a relationship, and then the person's name or whatever it was. And there's the applause, and there's the congratulations, and there's the, oh my God, you're a cute couple, and oh my God, I'm so happy for you, right? You know that was something that started years ago, maybe 10 years ago. I don't even know how long Facebook's been around. But that started it off. Because now every goddamn fucking dinner that you have, there's a selfie. And now every walk that you take, and now your first trip together, there's the picture of you guys on the plane, and then there's this, and it's just like, oh my God, not every couple needs a reality show. Seriously, not everybody needs to broadcast every moment of their relationship. I got criticism for that, even when I was on the radio, of people thinking that I'm in the closet, or, that I was single or whatever. I don't feel that I've got to, I don't owe the world, I don't have an obligation to put in my Instagram bio my husband's link and, happily partnered and married and, my dream man and whatever. I don't fucking care what you think about my relationship, and I never have. So yes, I was with a guy for years, and, people didn't even know that I was gay. And I said, because, again, I don't need to wave the flag, and it doesn't mean that I'm in the closet. It doesn't mean that I'm ashamed of my partner. It doesn't mean anything. I don't feel like... But the world has this expectation from you, especially if you're in the media, that, you disclose your relationship status. And I don't give two fucks what anybody thinks. So these performative relationships, when it's all played out for social media, there's a bit of sweetness when it comes crashing down and it ends. I kind of love it. Yes, maybe it's heartbreak for you. It's hilarious for us because you set that expectation. You put that out there. You began broadcasting everything. And so ultimately when it crumbles, now you've got to put out the statement, right? You've got to have the press release now. Now you've got to have we've come to the decision that we've decided. And it's just like, how about you just kind of not post shit then? Like, right? Are you going to wipe the person out? Because that also seems to be what happens. Now all of a sudden, that 6 months or however long you spent together now suddenly didn't happen because now you've gone and wiped that person from your page because it's embarrassing now that you're not. I do see some people that will keep pictures of their ex or whatever from a year or two ago or whatever, and fine, because you can't erase history. That person was in your life. It happened. They might not be anymore, but I don't know. If I had pictures from before I was in my relationship, and it's from 15 years ago, and it was a guy that I had gone out for dinner with. My husband's not going and demanding that I take down the picture. To be like, fuck off. Even then, it's so far down on the page, who's even seeing it anymore? But yeah, when your relationship is out there, I just think that complicates things. It goes back to that whole, Christmas thing. Now we're all of a sudden going to do these pictures of us in our jammies, or what he bought me for Christmas, and now I'm going to post it on Facebook, and people are going to go, oh my God, you're so lucky. Like, ugh. I don't need that pat on the back. I don't need that positive reassurance from a world full of strangers that don't know my relationship, don't know me, don't know him. It just doesn't faze me. I don't care. So that's my relationship rant for you today. I did actually have other Ask JB questions, but we didn't get to them because I just decided to do this. So, like it or not, it happened. And we're out of time. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I'd love to know your thoughts on all this stuff. Send me an email, live, Live, at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye, everybody.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up The Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real